So what's in your rifle? Today we're going to be talking about bolt carrier groups, specifically the new enhanced bolt carrier group from KAK Industries. Let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty folks, so today we're going to have a little bit of a discussion about bolt carrier groups. And I have here in front of me a handful of bolt carrier groups that I already had included in the new KAK Industry K-Spec enhanced bolt carrier group. So let's go ahead and take this thing out of the package and see what the deal is with this thing. So there you can see it is marked KAK for KAK Industry. It does have the K-Spec kind of writing on there, and right off the bat, one of the things you'll probably recognize, it's a little different compared to your normal bolt carrier groups, is on the bearing surface here. It's kind of got like this cross angled cut across there, and this is what they call kind of a sand cut type of deal. You can see on the bearing surface on the top of the carrier as well, and of course over on the other side. All right, now just at first glance at this bolt carrier group, you can see that the screws are Torx bit screws, which is definitely a nice touch. They look to be properly staked, quite a bit of material moved into there. And looking at the bolt itself, you can see it says KAK, it says K-Spec 5.56 9310 MPI. So this is made out of 9310 steel and it's MPI tested. And then the other thing that really sets this apart from other bolt carrier groups is the fact that the bolt face actually has dual ejectors on here. So if I go ahead and grab one of my other standard bolt carrier groups here, so this actually happens to be a very old, probably 15-year-old, heavily worn Spikes Industries bolt carrier group, and you can see the bolt face here. Your standard 5.56 just has one ejector. Now, why would you want to have two ejectors? Well, the ejector is one of those parts, along with their extractor itself, that can show some wear over time. And if you have two here, you're going to have better ejection, and you probably have less chance of wearing out the ejector over time. So that's the thought anyways. You can see, however, that the bolt itself does have thinner areas here to make room for the dual ejectors, whereas a standard one doesn't have quite as much material moved. So I wonder how that's going to handle in the long run. And if you look at the extractor on here, it is a phosphate extractor. Now I do happen to have another bolt carrier group, and I can't remember exactly who I got this from. I don't know if it was from DSA, I'm not really sure, but it does have also these sand cuts. But if you look at the sand cuts on this one, they are very thick or very separated, the bearing surfaces. So I kind of wonder how this, I actually have had this sitting in the package for a very long time. I've yet to use it. Whereas if you look at the KAK cut bearing surfaces, you can see that they didn't take quite as much material away. And I think that this will be a better route to go. But regardless, time will tell on how that works out. The other thing that I noticed that was slightly different between these two bolt carrier groups is going to be the bottom. It has kind of like this channel cut out on this. Like I said, I think this is from DSA, whereas this one does not. And typically, none of the bottom of your bolt carrier groups are going to have some sort of a channel. So I'm not even really sure what that is for. So here you can see the Geisley Reliability Enhanced bolt carrier group, and just some of the quick comparisons, even with the hardware for the gas key. You know, Torx really is a nice type of hardware to use versus your standard Allen, in my opinion, because Allen has more likelihood of getting stripped out, at least the head on there. However, these are not supposed to be super torqued very tight, but you know, it is a concern if you get one that's, you know, very stubborn. You're trying to remove the gas key for some reason or another, and you can't get it loose, and you strip that thing out. Or worst case scenario, break it in the carrier itself. So here's another look at the Spikes Industries one, and you can see once again no torque screws on any of these other bolt carrier groups, only on the K-Spec from KAK Industry. You can really see all the wear on this Spikes Industries. This thing here has been in a 10-inch upper for 556 upper for a long time, and it is definitely takes a beating. I've replaced the gas rings on the bolt itself numerous times. They're probably about due to be replaced again, maybe. Actually, nope, they're still holding up good. So I guess I need to shoot it more. So just run down the specs here for you. So 8620 phosphate coated chrome lined carrier. That means that here where the bolt itself is, you can actually see the material there. It's chrome lined. And then the gas key itself is actually chrome lined as well. 9310 MPI phosphate coated bolt, dual ejector for 556 or 300 blackout. Incidentally, this is actually going to be going inside of a 300 blackout build. 8740 hard chrome plated firing pin, 4130 billet phosphate coated gas key right there. 4140 phosphate coated cam pin. So the cam pin. One of the things that I did notice on here that I was kind of expecting to see actually was on the cam pin here. It's nice when they mark the cam pin so that when you take it apart and you put it back, you can orientate it the same way. I got in the habit of taking a punch and just marking it myself, but folks like Geisley here, they actually have a stepped cam pin here to alleviate putting it in the wrong way. So the idea here is that you want it to wear uniformly on one side. If you swap it around, you can maybe cause it to break, and that's one of the more common failures out there. So continuing on with the specs, S7 tool steel phosphate coated ejectors, 4140 phosphate coated extractor. So pretty impressive bolt carrier group as far as the specs go. Again, not really sure about the sand cuts here. We'll kind of have to see how those work out. The other thing that I'll point out, they do offer this as well in a chrome coated, which I would have rather had than phosphate just for easier cleanup. Not really a big deal. I mean, this is going to be in a suppressed weapon. Anytime you run suppressed a lot, it's nice to have a bolt carrier assembly that can be cleaned up easier, and the chrome definitely assists with that. The other thing they offer, rather than a side port where the gas comes out on the side, they have a downward ported version, and those are meant to kind of direct the gas away from the shooter's face and downward instead. All right, so I appreciate everybody watching today's video on the KAK Industries enhanced bolt carrier group that I picked up from my folks over at Brownells. If you head over to my website, use my affiliate link to Brownells, the channel does get a little bit of a kickback, so much appreciated there. Anytime you guys can use my affiliate links. Any questions or comments about this KAK Industries enhanced bolt carrier group, please put those down below. What do y'all think? Is it a gimmick? Do you think it's a worthwhile upgrade over a standard bolt carrier group? Whatever your opinion is, I want to hear it. I appreciate everybody watching and subscribing, and I will catch you all in the next video. Y'all take it easy.